Here at Dock Romeo Park, most people come for a ball game. But water also uses the large detention basin behind the fields. This is just one of more than 100 such facilities in Clark County. Welcome to the Flood Channel. I'm your host, Jessie Acuna. Each flood control basin can be found on an interactive map on the district's website. Recently, that website got a fresh look. Here's a peek at what you'll be able to do online. This is regionalflood.org, where you can find all things flood-related for Clark County. Whether on your phone or your computer, the first thing you notice are these rotating images. Each photo takes you to a different part of the website. For example, click here to access projects and engineering. Up here is the top menu. We'll be back to that in a minute. These buttons are your quick access to commonly visited pages on the website, such as rainfall and weather map and public information. Next is the events section, where you can find upcoming meetings or happenings from the district. If you like to plan ahead, click More Events for a calendar view and skip forward future months. For updates about the district, check out our news page. Each link takes you to a different story, while More News reveals past content in an easy-to-access format. Quick Look is a quick glimpse into some popular district facts. Currently, there are 661 miles of flood control conveyance built in Clark County. Be sure to check back to watch these numbers grow. To return to the home page from anywhere in the site, simply click on the Home button or the logo. Since we're already on the home screen, this takes us back to the top. Now that we're back at the top menu, you can hover over an item to see the drop-down menu or click it for more info. Earlier you saw meetings through the events page. Here's another way to access them. Don't forget to open the meeting to find its agenda. Programs and Services is where you'll find the bulk of the district's content. Interested in stormwater management or how we lessen impacts to natural resources? Environmental programs is where you want to be. Or perhaps you want to dive into the district's engineering program. This is where you can access master plan documents or see which projects are out to bid. And if you want to learn more about the district's public outreach program, visit our public information page. Not only can you learn more about flash flood safety, you can find materials to teach about the dangers of flooding in your classroom. You'll also get a peek at our social media, which you can always directly access from the bottom of the website. Each icon takes you to the respective platform's page. Did you know you can find real-time data of rainfall, water levels, and weather conditions on our website? Let's take a look. These tools are an interactive way to stay engaged when rainfall hits the valley. As stormwater flows, they help us better detect where flooding may occur. On the left, you can choose from a variety of tools, including finding out where channels and storm drains exist. Radar shows various weather patterns, while each point on the map shows different rain gauge details. Let's check out a past storm event. This one's from August 25th, 2013. As you can see, it was a major storm. Go to Fast Cameras for images of the area. Multi-use facilities such as parks and basins can be found using this button. Or find out where the Mount Charleston burn scar still exists from the Carpenter 1 fire. Be sure to check us out during the next storm. And visit regionalflood.org anytime for all things flood-related. Another popular tool for engineers is the Land Development Review Status. You can click the link to submit a new study or review previous ones. Here we'll check out the I Want To section. a great resource for Clark County residents and beyond. Residents often want to know if they live in a flood zone. Our I Want To tool makes it easy to find out. You can use a parcel number to search, but for this example, let's stick to a street address. Good news, City Hall is not in a 100-year flood zone. And don't worry if you don't know about the 100-year flood, there's a brief explanation below. Whether you're in a flood zone or not, it's always a good idea to look into flood insurance. This link takes you directly to FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. You can also learn more on our website on our Flood Insurance Facts and Myths page. Here you'll find answers to some commonly asked questions. With the changes in recreation habits due to COVID-19, we've seen more trash in our flood control system than we'd like. Here's how you can help. Go to I Want To report a clogged storm drain. Once you enter the cross streets or an exact address, you are prompted to select clogged storm drain, debris in channels, fence or lock maintenance issue, or flooding. That would be something like unusual ponding. If you'd like to add in more details, use the comment windows, then submit. That's all it takes. The Public Works staff of the location's jurisdiction is notified and works to resolve the issue as soon as possible. We appreciate your time and effort to help keep Clark County flood safe. All meetings are posted well in advance. Select a meeting to access information such as its agenda, or in this, how to submit public comment. While most meetings continue to take place virtually, you can live stream most meetings here. If you want a more in-depth look at flood control happenings, the Flood Channel is a great way to get your fill. This is where you can find the latest episode, as well as the TV airtime schedules for government access channels 2 and 4. You can also search previous shows on our YouTube page. This is a flood control channel designed for water. But we know kids and teens have been taking over. That's why we launched a campaign on TikTok to remind them of the dangers in the drain. The best place to reach most teens these days is on the device they're holding in their hands. Kids not only use the phones multiple times an hour, they are spending hours a day on social media platforms. Lately, they've found TikTok is their go-to app. TikTok has exploded onto the scene with 800 million active monthly users. It's an app to share short music-based vines. Not only is it the most downloaded app on iTunes, 41% of its users are under 25. That's why the district worked to create public safety messages this young audience will understand on the platform they are using. We created the character Dranger Danger, who you'll meet here. After Dranger Danger was introduced, we were able to create content in which the character does some classic moves currently popular on TikTok. The catch? The moves come with a safety message.
Hey, so you bagged him.
Yeah.
I'm a savage.
Savage.
Classy, bougie.
I'm bougie and ratchet and
sassy, moody, nasty.
Storm drains are savage. And any teen familiar with that song's use on TikTok will immediately be drawn in. At 15 seconds, it's just enough time to grab attention, hit the message, and leave. In another video, Dranger Danger dances to the Cars That Go Boom.
Car went boom.
yeah.
We like the
Doing
cars,
it, yeah.
the cars that go boom.
Boom.
Part of what makes TikTok so successful is the ability for each user to find a current meme and make it their own. One of the trendy memes is the wipe, in which a user stands by a steamy mirror, wipes it off, and reveals a different persona.
Wipe, wipe, wipe it down. Wipe, wipe,
Huh?
wipe.
I don't
Wipe
get
it
it.
down. Wipe.
Uh-oh.
The fourth use of Dranger Danger is in the style of TikToks that show what makes up a user. But Dranger Danger is composed entirely of dangerous things. You can check out Stranger Danger by following @RegionalFlood on TikTok, or you can see all the videos on YouTube at Regional Flood Control District. Another way we reach students is through school presentations. The pandemic has forced all of that to be done online. Currently, here's how we talk flood safety in the classroom. Have you ever seen a structure like this? What about this one? Maybe you've played in a park like the one I'm standing in. These are all flood control facilities, and they are built to protect you and our community from flash floods. Thanks for joining me. My name is Jessie, and I'm from the Regional Flood Control District. Today we're going to learn about flooding, including how to stay safe when it happens. If you've got a piece of paper in front of you, write down one thing that you think might cause a flood. If you don't have anything to write with, that's okay. Go ahead and think of it in your mind. Okay, great. Tell me what you think can cause flooding. A tsunami, yup. When that big wave comes crashing onto the dry land and brings lots of water with it. What else? A hurricane. Yes, and what about a hurricane causes flooding? Some of you said rain, and you're right. But you don't need a hurricane to get rainfall, do you? Nope. In an area like Las Vegas, all we need is a small storm to trigger a flash flood in our valley. Let's take a guess how much rain. Point to the box on your screen to the amount you think can cause a flash flood in southern Nevada. If you guessed 1 inch, way to go. That's not a lot of rain, as you can see here. But where we live, it's more than enough to cause a flash flood.
What is this? Oh, okay. And, it's gross.
Flooding can happen here for 2 reasons. First is because we live in a valley. Take a moment to write down or think in your mind what a valley is. A valley is an area of land that has a low point surrounded by mountains, like where most of us live in Las Vegas. What's special about our valley is we're shaped like a bowl that's tipped on its side. If you've been to Mount Charleston or Red Rock, give me a thumbs up. Whoa, a lot of you. Here on the high end of our valley are Mount Charleston and Red Rock, and down at the bottom, or the east side, is our lake. If you know the name of our lake, tell me now. That's right, a lot of you said Lake Mead. Wherever it rains in our valley, because of this slope, it's gonna make its way down to Lake Mead. The second reason we get flash floods has to do with our geology, or the makeup of our ground. Take a good look at these. Do you hear that? Tell me what you think this is. Most of you said rocks, and you're on the right track. This is caliche, which is a special kind of soil or crust in our earth that we also call desert cement. If you dig into our ground here, it's often what you're going to find. Let's take a closer look at how this causes flash floods. Here we have a couple pieces of caliche, which you know makes up the soil in our ground. Now, think of somewhere you've been or seen where it rains a lot. Maybe Florida or parts of Mexico. They have a very different type of soil in their ground. One way to tell this is because of all the greenery, such as trees and plants you see around, unlike our desert landscape. This sponge represents that type of soil. First, let's see what happens when it rains on the sponge. What did you see? Okay, let's look at what happens with the caliche. What was different? Caliche can't absorb water, so it rolls right off while the other soaks it right up. Now we know two of the main reasons we get flash floods in our area. When it rains, the water can't absorb into the ground. And since our valley is on a slope with a high point and a low point of our tilted bowl, the rainfall stays on the surface and rushes down to Lake Mead. Flash floods happen fast. And the summer months bring the monsoon season, which is a weather pattern that brings a lot of rainfall, so it's also our flash flood season. But flooding can occur any time of the year. So it's on us to make good decisions when it comes to flood safety. Earlier, you saw some of the flood control facilities we helped build to protect Clark County. Here's another look at a flood channel and a storm drain. We have hundreds and hundreds of miles of these built all over southern Nevada. You could drive over a storm drain and there could be water flowing in it and you don't even know it. Think of these like roads for water that eventually lead to Lake Mead. And this big ditch is what we call a detention basin. It's like a bathtub for rain, except it holds lots and lots of water. At one end is an outlet, similar to a drain in a bathtub. It slows down the amount of stormwater that can travel through to the channels and storm drains. Write down or think of in your mind 2 reasons why it's never a good idea to go into these facilities. If you thought of any of these, give me a virtual high five when you see it on the screen. They are dangerous. You could drown. They're dirty. There's trash. You could get stuck. You might fall. Water could come at any time. That's right. Remember, it could be raining up in the mountains and sunny where you are. The water is traveling 30 miles per hour, which will knock you off your feet. This is why we never want to play in this system, even when it's not raining. Let's take a look at that rainwater again. Since it's not absorbing into the ground, it's picking up everything on the roads. What are some of the things you might find in the water? Say the words on the screen aloud with me. Trash, nails, oil, gas, broken glass, rocks, water bottles, poop. Poop? It's true. Not only do we want to stay out of the rainwater because we can drown, but it's also dirty and can make us sick. We need to do our part to help keep that water clean. That means pick up after your pets, put trash in the trash can, and recyclables in the recycle bin. This water flows to Lake Mead, which is our main source of drinking water. Yes, we clean it, but we should still do our part to protect our environment. There's one more thing we need to know about flood safety. Give me a thumbs up if you're old enough to drive. Oh, okay. No one can reach the gas pedal yet. I get it. Well, you might not be old enough to drive, but I bet you know lots of people who are. When you see flooding on the streets, it's important we don't drive through the water. It takes about 1 foot or 1 ruler stick of water on the roads to pick up a car and sweep it away. Next time it's raining, remind whoever's driving you, turn around, don't drown.
Made so you bagged him.
Yeah.
I'm a savage.
Savage.
Classy, bougie,
I'm bougie and ratchet and...
sassy, moody, nasty.
Now you know what causes flash floods in our valley and how to stay safe if one occurs. We're going to watch a video to recap what we talked about so far. While you're watching, I want you to keep an eye out for a few things. See if you can spot any cars that got stuck trying to drive through flooded roadways. Take a close look at how dirty the water is. And watch how fast the water is moving. Do you think you could swim or run faster than that water? No. Also, pay special attention to the 3 Ds of flash flood safety.
Yes, it is a desert out there. Sure, it hardly rains, but a few raindrops like me landing in our desert can quickly turn into a raging flood. Cars can float away, people can get hurt, plus homes and buildings can be destroyed. Our sky is usually sunny and clear. Rainstorms don't happen often in our dry climate. When rain does fall, though, it only takes less than 1 inch of rain to cause a flash flood. Here's why. We have a lot of hard crust in our soil called caliche. Some call it desert concrete. It forms just under the ground and it can't absorb water, so the water runs right off the ground into the streets or through washes, natural channels formed by running water. When rain falls on the west side of the Las Vegas Valley near Red Rock, it runs to the east side near Boulder Highway. It's a big downhill slope. To look at it another way, the Las Vegas Valley is like a giant bowl tipped on its side. The rainwater doesn't soak into the ground. Instead, it just slides right down the bowl from one side to the other. It's important to know how to stay safe when a flood occurs in the desert. To help you remember the dangers of floodwater, let's learn the 3 Ds of flash flood safety so you know how to stay safe from floods. The first D of flash flood safety you need to know is floodwater and flash floods are dangerous. Floodwater is fast and powerful. It can move extremely quickly and it can knock you off your feet. Floodwater will flow through the streets down into drainage pipes called storm drains and into flood channels. These are pathways that direct water away from your school, your neighborhood, and your home. The water travels inside these channels until they reach a detention basin. Think of these as really big bathtubs. These basins can be as big as 170 football fields in length and 55 feet deep. The detention basins take in huge amounts of flood water and release the water back into channels and underground storm drains at a much slower pace so it can travel safely through the valley into Lake Mead. Channels and detention basins are no place to play. They are dangerous. The water moves so fast it can sweep you under or you could drown. Don't ever go into flood channels and don't get in detention basins either. Remember, it's dangerous. Keep your friends, your family, and even your pets away from these areas at all times. Even without water in them, they are still very dangerous because water can rush in even if it's not raining where you are. The second D of flash flood safety is dirty. Floodwater is absolutely filthy. Floodwaters are filled with junk like oil, chemicals, and pet waste. It washes off yards down streets and into storm drains and detention basins. It's a dirty and dangerous place, one where you should never swim and play. The deep channels hide trash like nails, broken glass, and construction debris. It's so dirty that you can't see what may be under the water. Not only can this filthy water hurt you, but it can also harm our environment. Water from washing your car at home, sprinklers, and rainstorms flows to Lake Mead, where we get most of our drinking water. Pollutants like trash and chemicals in the water can hurt plants and wildlife like fish and birds. Everyone, including you, can help protect the land we live on, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. If you see someone littering or dumping trash in the desert or into storm drains, tell your parents. They can call the Regional Flood Control District at 702-685-0000. Remember, floodwater is dirty, but it is our job to pollute less. We all need to protect the environment, not only for today, but for future generations. The last D of flash flood safety you need to remember is don't drive. So, you know playing in floodwater is dangerous, but what about driving in it? You are not safe there either. You never want to drive through any amount of water. Just an inch of water can cause you to lose control of the car. All it takes is 2 feet of water for the car to float away, and you with it. The smart thing to do is always stay away from flooded areas. Floods are very powerful and can destroy anything in its path. Half of all deaths caused by flash floods are because people try to drive through flooded streets. This puts the drivers, the passengers, and the rescuers at risk. So remember to tell your parents, don't drive through floodwaters. It's just not safe and it's just not smart. Your parents can also get a ticket for driving through a flooded street. You need to make sure your parents don't put themselves, you, or the firemen trying to rescue you in danger. If a street is flooded, turn around, don't drown. When it rains, be alert. There are many signs that'll tell you rain may be coming. Lightning and thunderstorms in the valley can be beautiful, but make sure you're inside to enjoy them. Listen to radio or TV. You can learn if there's a flash flood watch or a flash flood warning. A flash flood watch means it's raining heavily and a flood could happen soon. Tell an adult if you know there's a flash flood watch and stay out of the rain. A flash flood warning means a flash flood is happening right now. Tell an adult and get to high ground right away. Storms in southern Nevada happen fast. The water will go away fast. Just stay inside and wait until the water is off the streets. You can also check out the Regional Flood Control website. There you'll find out how much rain is falling around the valley. If a lot of rain is falling, stay inside and away from the water. Flash flood season starts July through September, but floods in southern Nevada can happen anytime and anywhere. So remember, be prepared, be alert, and make smart decisions so that you can stay dry and stay alive.
From caliche to monsoons, be sure to share what you learned today with your friends and family. The more of us who know about flooding, the safer we all are. Now before you go, let's take one last look at a flood control facility. As tempting as it may be, it's never safe to play in a flood channel or a storm drain, even if the gate is unlocked. Thanks for joining me, and remember to be flood safe.